Form, welcome to Wednesday's lesson. So just to start with, just want to show you a few nice bits of work that have been sent in. So here's a lovely couple of bits on the angles that were done by Sophie and Charlotte. So all very neat, all nicely ticked and everything, so that was great. And then here are a couple also on angles by Phoebe and Cecily. I think that's everybody who sent things in to me, but if I've missed you, I'm sorry. I did look back and I thought that was everybody. I looked on my emails and also on Show My Homework. So obviously last lesson we spent our time getting up to speed with Microsoft Teams. So we're back to revising now. So whilst this is our fifth remote lesson, it's going to be our fourth revision, and we're just specifically looking at the special triangles like isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles and right angled triangles, and also the various properties of the quadrilaterals, the four-sided shapes. So this is revision lesson 4, and it's everything we did back on the 5th of March. So let's so basically the lesson's going to be similar to what we've done before. So I will be just taking you through the slides, pausing, and you can do the work. But now that Hegarty Maths is working again, it wasn't working last week because everybody was using it, it was crashing, but he's obviously got some more bandwidth or something, it's working properly. Each lesson is now going to finish just with 1 or 2 Hegarty Maths exercises, and those are the bits that I'll be wanting you to not text me anymore, not email me anymore. I want you then to start getting used to putting those into Microsoft Teams. Okay, so we'll finish off with I'll talk you through the Hegarty we're going to do, and then that's just a nice easy way for me just to check that you're all actually doing some work, because at the moment, or the only ones I know who are definitely doing work are those of you who are sending me through bits and bobs. So, as I'm sure you remember, an equilateral triangle is one where the 3 sides are the same length and all 3 angles are the same. And because angles in a triangle add up to 180 and these angles are all the same, then obviously each of these must be 180 divided by 3, which is 60 degrees. So could you just pop that back into your revision notes just to remind you of that, please? Now, then the other special type of triangle, or one of the other 2, it was the isosceles triangle. And what did we know about an isosceles triangle? Well, 2 sides are the same length, not 3. And then the base angles are the same. So the 2 angles are the same. The one that isn't the same is the one where the 2 parallel lines meet. So we call these the base angles, and these 2 angles are equal. So I've just got 3 questions here that I'd like you to do, please. So pause the video and copy out these 3 here and give it your best shot. So let's start with this one over here. So this is an equilateral triangle. So the base angles are going to be equal. Now angles in a triangle add up to 180. So 180 take away 30 is 150. Spread that equally over these 2 angles, so divide it by 2. Each of these must be 75. Now angles in a straight line add up to 180. So x must be 180 take away 75, which is 105 degrees. Now over here we've got an equilateral triangle, so all 3 of those angles must be 60. Then this angle here, well, angles in a straight line add up to 180. 180 take away 60 is 120. Now here we've got a 4-sided shape, a quadrilateral. Those angles must add up to 360. This, of course, being 90 degrees. 110 add 90 is 200. Add the 120 gives us 320. 360 take away 320 means the y must be 40 degrees. So finally this blue one. So angles on a straight line add up to 180. So that angle there must be 80. Now this is an isosceles triangle, so base angles are equal, so that one must also be 80. Now angles in a triangle add up to 180, so this one must be what makes it up to 180. So 80 add 80 is 160, so that must be 20. And then finally, angles about a point add up to 360. Now this is 90 degrees and this is 20, so that's 110. 360 take away 110 means that Z must be 250 degrees. Now the next thing that we reminded ourselves is about a right angled triangle. So obviously a right angled triangle has a right angle in it, which is 90 degrees. So given that these three angles add up to 180 and this is 90, x plus y must equal 90 degrees. So if we know one, we can work out the other. So if this is 60, that must be 30, and so on. Okay, so the final thing we looked at in the lesson was just the properties of a square, a rectangle, a rhombus, and a parallelogram. So we reminded ourselves that the square has got 4 equal sides, 4 right angles, and those green lines of symmetry. And with a rectangle, obviously these sides are parallel, these sides are parallel. Remember, this sort of double dash or single dash is just telling you what's parallel with what. And that had 2 lines of symmetry. Then a rhombus had 4 lines of symmetry. Sorry, 2 lines of symmetry, excuse me. And those opposite angles are equal and those opposite angles are equal. Remember, a rhombus is a special parallelogram. It's one where all 4 sides are the same length. So it's basically like a square that's been squished over. And then with a parallelogram, that's sort of a rhombus but all 4 sides aren't the same length. Now a trapezium just means you've got a pair of parallel sides and 2 that aren't parallel. And then a kite is quite an obvious one, really, because we all know what a traditional kite looks like. So it would be great if you could just copy those out, please, into your revision notes. So that's it on our sort of usual typical lesson up to now. But as I said, now that Hegarty's working, we're going to finish off every lesson with just a Hegarty exercise or 2. And this week, today we're just going to be doing the 1. So when you log into Hegarty, we're just going to be doing number 486. Now look, this is important. When you log on, there may well be lots of ones being flagged that you haven't done yet. That does not matter, okay? I'm not worried about all the ones that you haven't yet, the ones in the past that you haven't finished. So ignore all of those and just make sure you just do 486. Now I have noticed with other classes that Hegarty isn't necessarily loading up first thing on the day it's due. So if you're looking at this quite early on Wednesday, don't panic if you can't see 486 there yet as one for you to do. It will come up a bit later in the day. So all I want you to do is 486, and I want you to do it as we've done it before, please. So write it into your orange book showing all of your workings. And all of your workings in the orange book. And then what I really would like you to do, please, is to take a photo of that and then practice uploading that following Mr. Buchanan's video that I showed you the other day, uploading that into your Microsoft Teams, what's it called? It's called a classroom page, isn't it? Class notebook, onto your class notebook pages. And I think there are various tabs there that you can choose from. I think it would just be good just to pop it on the homework tab. Okay, so if you could do that, that's great. If you find you are still struggling with that, don't panic, just give it your best shot. You can always still just email it through to me, okay? And anyway, even if you can't do any of that, I'll know that you've done the work because I can look on Hegarty and see what score you got. So that's it for today, guys. So stay safe. We'll speak next time we have a lesson.